My conniving pregnant colleague colluded with the manager to steal my rightful year-end bonus, snatched my project, and forced me out of the company. What they didn't know was that I am a Feng Shui master. Once I'm paid for my work, I ensure the Feng Shui is perfected. If the Feng Shui isn't rectified, the malevolent energy won't dissipate. By agreement, I couldn't leave on my own terms. This company's Feng Shui harbored a strange anomaly, shaped like a wooden coffin, and it was only through me that its life force lingered. Without me to guard this coffin, the company's fate would reach its bitter end. Forget the project, they wouldn't even have a peaceful new year. I was busy working with a client, and before I could even reply, a message from the manager popped up. I opened it. A simple sentence: "You're fired, pack your things and leave." I clicked his profile picture, scrutinized it 3 times to confirm it was indeed from the manager, and felt utterly bewildered. I immediately replied with a question mark. I wasn't going crazy, I thought he was. My current order was the largest the company had secured all year. It was time for a final review, and now they were firing me? Did that make any sense? Since I joined, I had consistently been the top salesperson. Firing me was like severing an aorta, wasn't it? A red exclamation mark soon told me the manager didn't care about any of that. I ran my hand through my hair, utterly perplexed, and decided to get to the bottom of it. Maintaining my last shred of politeness, I knocked. The manager's portly voice boomed from inside. I pushed the door open and walked straight in. Manager Lee was lounging on a massage chair. Seeing me, he grumbled, "Bad luck." I cut straight to the chase. "Why am I fired? Give me a valid reason." The manager raised his voice. "Reason? The reason, of course, is that you failed to follow company arrangements. You're meaningless. You bring no value to the company, so naturally, the company has the right to fire you." I understood then. It wasn't just about creating value for the company, it was about creating value for him. I had rejected that bald-headed man a few days ago, so I no longer held any value to him. This was his personal vendetta, thinly veiled as official business. I scoffed. "Do you know I'm the top salesperson? If you fire the top salesperson, do you even expect to keep your managerial position?" The manager shot up, but he still wasn't as tall as me. "Let me tell you, Jasmine, don't think the company can't function without you. Did you achieve all of the company's successes by yourself? Do you think the company can't survive without you? Don't be so conceited, all right? Young people should be a little more humble." I couldn't take it anymore. "Shut your mouth. Stop acting so superior. Just give me the year-end bonus and compensation I deserve, and I'll leave immediately." The manager rolled his eyes threateningly and slammed his hand on the desk. "The company made it very clear. Whoever completes this project gets the highest year-end bonus. Now that you've withdrawn, what part of it is still yours?" I was so furious I burst out laughing. "I withdrew myself. Didn't you fire me. This isn't just a personal vendetta. You want to pocket that year-end bonus yourself, don't you?" I spoke with thinly veiled animosity. "When I was working on this project, didn't you see it? What exactly were those 2 eyes of yours staring at?" I was so angry my brain felt like it was twitching. I scoffed. "Is it because I refused your unspoken rules? Did it wound your overly confident ego? Who do you plan to hand this project over to? Someone else? Aren't you afraid of being sued to death for compensation? A parachute manager like you truly has no competence. And you expect me to even look at you? Dream on. Am I blind? Do you think you're some fake precious gem that everyone should pander to?" The manager was speechless with rage. He sputtered, you, before finally just telling me to get out. Feeling a surge of malevolent energy condense and sweep past me, I spun around. From my very first day here, I had sensed the company's deeply entrenched negative aura. This wasn't just the casual grumbling of overworked employees. This was genuine, potent resentment. Compared to other floors, the company was located on a high floor, yet it felt low, often used as a warehouse. Its position was inherently gloomy, with windows only facing west, drawing in only malevolent energy instead of vital life force. Furthermore, the equipment inside the company was arranged vertically, deepening its coffin-like layout. When I first arrived, the employees here suffered from various ailments: headaches, toothaches. Their bodies were generally unwell. I spent over 3 months adjusting the Feng Shui, improving the entire layout. Though they didn't know I was rectifying the Feng Shui, I didn't need their gratitude. But once their bodies felt better, they started to gloat and target me. I couldn't tolerate it. Besides, that year-end bonus rightfully belonged to me. This project made them envious because it included an additional 300,000 yuan bonus. But this year-end bonus was rightfully mine. I came to this company with a special purpose. As a Feng Shui master, I coincidentally rescued the company's major owner, Madame Lin, and was particularly interested in the project she had in hand, which is why I focused my efforts here. The first time I met her, I calculated that she would be afflicted by a disaster involving imprisonment. Although not directly caused by her, mistakes made by her subordinates could still damage the reputation of businesspeople like her. I realized this was a Feng Shui problem, and my expertise lay in transforming Feng Shui. So, I made a bet with her. If I successfully secured this project, she would give me an additional 300,000 yuan post-tax bonus. The remaining 300,000 yuan was my fee for adjusting the Feng Shui to help her avoid calamity. They stole money that was rightfully mine. I couldn't let it slide. The manager saw my prolonged silence and thought I was scared. He told a colleague to drag me away. I brushed the colleague's hand off, looking straight into the manager's eyes. "You'd best not regret this. Do you believe me? Once I leave, not only will this project collapse, but the entire company will be doomed." The manager snorted. Who would believe that? If you're really that capable, why didn't you just waltz in through the back door? I hadn't parachuted in based on a bet with Madame Lin. I had followed the official procedures to get here. Before I could retort, I saw the recently condensed malevolent energy shoot straight into my colleague Olivia's stomach. Olivia suddenly clutched her belly and let out a tragic cry, but immediately put on the most pitiful expression. I turned to watch her fake agony, curled up on the ground, reaching her hand towards the manager. "Manager Lee? Olivia, she pushed me. Jasmine, she pushed me." Olivia's eyes welled up with tears. "Jasmine, I haven't even settled the score about you stealing my plan and submitting it, and now you're pushing me." "What the hell?" I immediately covered her mouth. "Which plan of yours are you talking about? The plan was mine, what does it have to do with you?" Olivia declared indignantly. "That was my asterisk plan. You took advantage of me leaving work, opened my computer, and stole everything. I had finished writing it then, intending to submit it the next day, but you submitted it first." Colleagues buzzed with speculation. "What? No way." "The year-end bonus this time includes an extra 300,000 yuan. She dared to steal it. Isn't that too audacious?" Someone agitatedly said. "Such a big matter, Jasmine should be taken to the police station. Why are we letting her bully people here?" The year-end bonus was definitely mine, but as long as I left, anyone might be able to claim a share. I grabbed Olivia's hand, secretly taking her pulse. "You say it's yours, do you have proof? I made this plan, I understand every detail, even the locations I chose conform to the 5 elements. Could you do that?" Ms. Zhang, standing nearby, was the most agitated. Well, maybe she, out of guilt, purposely memorized the key points of the plan. I nodded. "All right, Olivia, tell me, how do you prove it's yours?" Olivia looked at the manager. "I have a habit of typing 3 spaces at the beginning of a sentence. If you don't believe me, everyone can check." Wait a minute. A vein pulsed in my forehead. Why was Olivia so confident? I quickly opened the manager's computer, then my own. "If you want to check, use the version I sent to her to verify. Otherwise, I wouldn't know when someone tampered with it. This is the fairest method. No one can object." Everyone's eyes were glued to my computer. I pressed the backspace key at the start of the paragraph once, twice, thrice. It turned out there really were 3 spaces. I wasn't reconciled. I tried a few more times, it was always 3 spaces at most. I stared at the computer at a loss. I clearly didn't have this habit. When was the file tampered with? But now, the file had been sent by me. The results proved Olivia's words to be true. Even those who initially trusted me sighed. Olivia looked triumphant. "I told you this plan was mine, but you wouldn't believe me. I didn't want to hide it from everyone, but today you even pushed me. I won't cover for you anymore." I didn't reply, I just let go of Olivia's hand. "You're pregnant, bullying people, and now you're bullying a Feng Shui master like me." Olivia seemed not to expect me to say this. Her face panicked, and she instinctively looked at the manager. "I recall the manager is married, could it be?" I turned to look at the manager. "After I leave, who do you intend to hand this project over to?" The manager, seeing my recent defeat, made no effort to hide his disgust for me. "Jasmine, you are no longer part of this company. You have no right to ask me this question. Get out of here now." I wasn't having it. Projects always belong to the capable. "Are you planning to hand it to Olivia? On what grounds?" The manager was about to speak, but Olivia cut him off. This plan was proposed by me, so naturally I will take over the project. Is there a problem with that? I had largely grasped the situation, and I was quite willing to let them work in vain for a while. Without me, I wondered what they could possibly achieve. The parachute manager didn't value me. Olivia, as a newcomer, saw my luck, and Ms. Zhang, who had been here for so long, saw me, a newcomer, achieving too much. I chuckled softly. No problem, of course, no problem at all. I just hope that after you take over my project, you won't have to come begging me. I leaned closer to her. After all, you certainly know better than anyone how this project plan really came to be. And as for the baby in your belly, I know exactly whose it is. Olivia recoiled in fear. I bypassed her and directly took the potted cactus from the manager's office. All the plants and superfluous items in this room were added by me to alter the Feng Shui. Since I'm leaving, I certainly won't let the company's people continue to enjoy good fortune. Without me, just wait and see this company collapse. I waved to everyone in the company, hoping they wouldn't have any regrets after I left. I cleared out all the plants and flowers, even taking away the calligraphy paintings used to ward off malevolent energy. I even took the coat hanger. Once everything was packed, I walked to the company's auspicious entrance, the Life Gate. Just as I was about to take the lucky bamboo plant there, I suddenly pulled my hand back. I'd leave them one lifeline. Slowly tormenting them was the best way. Once that lucky bamboo withered, this company would truly revert to its coffin-like state. I didn't want their suffering to be quick and brief. I looked at the company, whose Feng Shui layout I had just adjusted. From the outside, its squat height was covered by countless malevolent energies. Now, without Feng Shui to suppress the negative aura, who would the chaotic surge of resentment target first? Undoubtedly, Olivia would be the first to suffer its effects. Although Olivia was pregnant, logically, malevolent energy shouldn't enter her. But the prerequisite was that the baby in Olivia's womb had to be legitimate, lawful, reasonable, and proper. However, Olivia clearly had an affair with that manager, and the manager was a married man. Thus, the baby in her womb was neither reasonable nor proper, its identity unclear, and naturally, it would attract malevolent energy. I had mentioned that the plan I submitted was designed according to the 5 elements. I had a deep understanding of Feng Shui. Every step had a subtle intention and couldn't be casually imitated and successfully implemented. I went home and lay on my bed. After tidying up my things, I turned off all notifications, granting myself 3 days of rest. I thoroughly enjoyed these 3 days, and through divination, I understood why the situation with the plan had occurred. First, the part everyone checked was the beginning of the plan, not the end. I completed the beginning at the company, and I didn't have the habit of turning off my computer. So, if I just went to the restroom, someone could directly search and replace to fix the format at the front. The fixed mindset of people is that if the beginning is the same, the rest must be the same. This gave them the opportunity to exploit a loophole. I also had no intention of making them review surveillance camera footage. After all, such clear evidence would certainly have been thoroughly cleaned up. Only by making the true thief admit their wrongdoing could I truly prove my innocence. For 3 days while I was gone, the company seemed to be under attack. Anne, the building's receptionist, secretly messaged me to spill the tea. She said, "The 13th floor where your company operates is like it's haunted." Haunted? No, it was just the malevolent energy returning. All the negative aura I had banished had simply come back. Without me, the company's Feng Shui could only prolong its agony. But I pretended to be curious and listened to Anne's story. Anne was incredibly excited. "Let me tell you, as soon as you left, things went crazy at the company. Your company's printer suddenly broke down, just spitting out blank sheets one after another." I nodded. A broken printer. That's normal. Anything more interesting?" Anne recounted every detail to me. Of course. If that were all, why would people be saying it's haunted? Usually, the higher the floor, the hotter it gets, but the 13th floor, despite being high, is as cold as a morgue. The 12th and 14th floors are hot, but the 13th floor is freezing, like a cold sandwich. The AC is on heat mode at 28 degrees, and it's still an ice chamber. Anne and I burst out laughing together. I told you the 13th floor is a coffin room. The life force was already weak, and the malevolent energy only entered and didn't leave, unresolvable. Over time, problems were bound to occur. Anne suddenly grew even more excited. "Let me tell you, the scariest thing is about your pregnant colleague, Olivia." "Olivia? Then I absolutely must listen carefully." Anne said, "These past few days, Olivia keeps running up and down to the reception desk, claiming that we receptionists keep calling her, telling her to come down and pick someone up. She has to come down 7 or 8 times a day, and when she gets annoyed, she picks fights with us. We receptionists haven't called her at all, and Olivia's phone doesn't show any calls, but she insists someone is calling her down. Not people calling, everyone believed it was ghosts calling. Anne suddenly lowered her voice. After that, Olivia stopped coming down, but do you know what rumors are spreading in the building now? I played along with Anne. What are the rumors in the building? Anne continued. After you left, people said the project plan itself wasn't the problem, but it just couldn't be executed. People on other floors could hear your manager throwing furious tantrums. Everyone thinks you might actually be the true owner of the plan. I understood. The project was in trouble. I had said it before. Without me, they couldn't do it. Without me as the intermediary, it was fundamentally impossible to seamlessly connect these various components. I was the woman who became the top salesperson in just 3 months. Naturally, the clients only recognized me. Feeling that enough time had passed, I finally condescended to open the company chat app. What greeted me was a screen full of 99+ messages. I was too lazy to read them all, so I just picked a few of the latest ones. In summary, the project truly couldn't move forward. One by one, people were begging and coaxing me, asking if I could come and help them. I rolled my eyes. They hadn't paid me yet, and they wanted me to help. When it was time to hand out money, I was nowhere to be found, but now when it came to assigning blame, there I was. I replied to Olivia's message. Didn't you say this was your asterisk plan? Since you wrote it yourself, why do you still need to ask me? Just as I was about to add a few more sarcastic remarks, a phone call suddenly came in. I saw the caller ID and immediately picked up. This was Madame Lin, the true owner of this company. I had helped change the Feng Shui at her request. Madame Lin knew my true abilities. Her voice was warm and familiar. Jasmine dear, my right arm stopped hurting a while ago, but for some reason it's been aching terribly these past few days. Has something happened at the company? Madame Lin owned many companies. Such a small company as mine usually wouldn't register on her radar. But Feng Shui was different. My voice was compliant. Madame Lin, I was fired by the manager. Madame Lin's voice was astonished. Who dared to fire you? Weren't you in charge of that project's client relations? What kind of game are they playing, firing you now? Madame Lin was usually calm, with the aura of a superior. This series of probing questions was the first time I felt the pressure of a true leader. I recounted to Madame Lin how I was suddenly fired and how my colleague stole my work. Madame Lin gently asked me, Jasmine, you've suffered such a great injustice, why didn't you tell me? Now that you've left, has the company's original Feng Shui layout changed again? Just as I predicted, such a small matter certainly wouldn't have reached Madame Lin's ears so suddenly. After all, the project hadn't even begun its final verification. The reason Madame Lin was suddenly so concerned about me was that her own body was experiencing problems. One's own destiny was always the most important thing. I had told her that I couldn't leave on my own initiative, but being fired was a different matter. I spoke with a humble tone. That's right, Madame Lin, I am the core of the Feng Shui arrangement. Now that I've left, this formation will no longer be effective. Madame Lin was silent for a moment. So, do you want to come back now? If you do, I can directly confirm you as the main person in charge of this project. I chuckled softly. There's no need for such trouble, Madame Lin. They'll naturally encounter problems when they conduct the verification. That's when I intended to show myself. If you do it this way, people might think I'm abusing my power. Madame Lin cajoled me. How is that abusing your power? Clearly, I'm begging you for help. So, do you have any ideas? Tell me. I beamed. Since everyone is now saying there's a problem with the Feng Shui on the 13th floor, why not invite me back to examine the Feng Shui? Madame Lin heard my request and nodded. Do as you wish. As long as the project verification is perfect, I'll give you another 200,000 yuan. Madame Lin acted quickly. 2 deployment orders were sent to me. The first, inviting a Feng Shui master, had already been dispatched to the company. The second, appointing me as the main project manager, was currently only in my hands. Humph. I originally intended to enjoy the show for a few more days before resolving everything, but I was quite willing. Tomorrow, I'd go see how miserable everyone at the company was living. I sat on the sofa on the first floor, wrapped up completely, watching my former colleagues pass by one. The weather had been pleasant recently, but everyone from my company was basically wearing masks, occasionally coughing, and dressed in much thicker clothes than others. The Coffin room lived up to its name. The worst off was still the manager. His office was at the Death Gate, originally the place with the heaviest negative energy. It was a miracle he still had a few strands of hair left these days, but even more notable was Olivia. A few days ago, her stomach was only slightly bulging, now it was visibly swollen. She hadn't clarified who she was dating, nor why her belly had suddenly grown so large. She looked considerably more gaunt, completely different from her previous arrogant demeanor. The baby in Olivia's womb, affected by its parents, was enveloped by too much malevolent energy. Even if it were born, its physical health wouldn't be good. I sighed softly, gently dispelling some of the malevolent energy around Olivia's belly. I felt that Olivia's baby would struggle to live long. Although Olivia was far from a good person, the child in her womb was innocent. Madame Lin had given me central monitoring authority. I narrowed my eyes, observing the flow of malevolent energy within the company through the cameras. The department was in utter disarray. On one hand, clients were dissatisfied due to the sudden change in project managers. On the other hand, they couldn't decipher what I had written in my plan. To understand my plan, one needed at least a bit of spiritual energy. But there was no spiritual energy here, only a heap of malevolent energy. Everyone was simmering with suppressed anger. How could they understand anything? I sent a message to Olivia. "Want to beg me for help, do you? I'm here. Tell Manager Li and Ms. Zhang to come down and greet me." My commanding tone infuriated the manager the moment he saw it. He tore up the documents in his hand, pulled out his phone, and tried to call me. My number had been blocked for ages. What was the point of calling? I sent another message to Olivia. 5 minutes. I'll only wait 5 minutes for you. Don't blame me if you're late. I watched the manager prepare to head downstairs, while I, holding my new work ID, went straight into the elevator. Go stand by the door for a while. Endure a little hardship now, be patient, and later there will be much more suffering for you to endure. I arrived at the door and discovered that the lucky bamboo plant I had placed at the life gate had vanished. No wonder the malevolent energy was running rampant. They had cut off their only lifeline themselves. Everyone in the company was annoyed to see me. I held up my new work ID, twirling it in my hand. This company was just a small branch. Orders from the head office meant they certainly had to be cautious. This return, my status was different. Everyone's eyes held a hint of awe. I glanced around. It seemed this period had indeed scared them. They even had fortune characters pasted up. But what good would that do? The lucky bamboo I left behind was destroyed by them. No matter how powerful an item, it couldn't enter through the life gate if it wasn't there. That fortune character was just a piece of useless paper. I pointed to the life gate. This place was supposed to have something to open the life gate. Did any of you discard anything? Everyone fell silent. They, of course, knew what had been discarded, the lucky bamboo I had left behind. Olivia seemed to have suffered enough. Without me having to ask again, she hastily answered my question. I nodded. Then you are completely seeking your own demise. The fact that less than half of you are hospitalized right now means you're incredibly lucky. Everyone took a sharp breath. They knew something was wrong with the company, but they couldn't bear to leave, nor did they dare to. Olivia hurriedly spoke up. Then is there any way to resolve this? I spread my hands. Yes, of course there is. I smiled faintly. It's just, will you listen to what I say? I'm sent by the head office. Even if I'm a charlatan with some real skills. They naturally believed me without an ounce of doubt. Just as I was about to speak, Manager Li and Ms. Zhang came up. Both were panting, drenched in sweat. Oh, right, I just turned off the elevator. Anne had already informed the other companies about this, so everyone knows the situation, not just us. I just wanted this parachute manager to suffer a little. The manager burst in, immediately berating Olivia. You said Jasmine was waiting for us on the first floor. I searched almost the entire first floor and couldn't find her. The manager wiped the sweat from his forehead and instructed Ms. Zhang. Call her right now and tell her to show up obediently. If I catch her, I absolutely won't let her off easy. Ms. Zhang's expression was a little awkward. Jasmine, she blocked my number as soon as she left. In the end, it was Olivia who called. The manager saw me, dressed head to toe in black, his eyes filled with suspicion. Who are you? What are you doing at our company? I said nothing, only quietly turned my phone's volume to maximum. Olivia's call came through, but her voice emanated from my pocket. Everyone looked at me. Unhurriedly, I took out my phone, removed my mask, then answered. This is Jasmine. My voice, amplified through the phone's speaker, was heard clearly by everyone. The manager saw me, and the fire that had just subsided flared up again. He jumped up. Jasmine, you're here, and you made me come downstairs to greet you. How thick is your skin? Are you mocking me? Ms. Zhang chimed in. That's right, Jasmine, you're being too unreasonable. Even if you've left the company, the manager is still the manager. I just chuckled softly. What benefits did the manager promise you that makes you so loyal, acting like his dog? The manager, seeing no one support him, started to put on a theatrical show. He grabbed his phone, intending to call security. Let me tell you, I am the manager. You've quit, you've gotten bold, daring to play games with me. The manager stood with his hands on his hips. You'd better get down on your knees and beg me right now, or I'll have security drag you out. I leisurely put away my phone. Manager Lee, have you forgotten? You're the one who begged me to help you. Didn't I say I wouldn't regret it? Are you sure, now that you've provoked me, that I'll still come back to help you? I scoffed. If it weren't for the fact that you can't solve this anymore, would you have invited me back, even come down yourself to pick me up? The entire scene remained silent. Ms. Zhang, who was usually shrewd, also noticed that something was amiss. The people in the company were best at flattery, always siding with whoever held power, but everyone was silent. There was definitely a problem. Only that fool, Manager Lee, was still dancing around in front of me. Manager Lee still wore his defiant expression, like a fighting rooster. Your salary is now reduced to 3,000 yuan. Do well, and you can stay. If not, just get out. I won't give you any more chances. I nodded. Since you've said so, I shall satisfy you. I took out the second deployment order. First, allow me to introduce myself. I am the Feng Shui master invited by the head office. I deliberately drew out my words. Furthermore, I am the lead project manager for this project, Manager Lee. Now, I am your superior. I patted Manager Lee's shoulder. Your salary is now reduced to 3,000 yuan. Do well and you can stay. If not, just get out. I won't give you any more chances. I returned every word Manager Lee had just said to him. I pressed the head office's seal onto Manager Lee's face. Lee, do you see the seal clearly? Are there any characters you don't recognize? Do you need me to read it aloud for you? Manager Lee's face immediately paled, completely losing his previous arrogant demeanor. I smiled at him. Didn't you used to criticize me for not having connections? Now that I'm back, why aren't you happy? I tapped the desk. Oh, right. My identity as a Feng Shui master was earned through my own abilities, not by slipping in through the back door like you. Having dealt with Manager Lee, it was Olivia's turn. I hadn't forgotten how I was forced to leave. I lifted Olivia's chin. So you really wanted my year-end bonus, didn't you? If it was your plan, why couldn't you execute it? Olivia trembled, speechless. Suddenly, everyone's phones rang. It's the deployment order from the head office, the same file I just showed Manager Lee. Olivia looked at me in despair, tears streaming down her face like rain. Jasmine, no, I didn't mean it. It was Manager Lee who plotted it. Seeing Manager Lee's downfall, Olivia immediately began to badmouth him, trying to please me. I sat in a chair like a big boss. So, tell me, who was the one who came up with the trick of the hidden spaces, causing me so much trouble? You two are truly something. Olivia stammered, trembling. I thought I was being clever. I took advantage of you being in the restroom and replaced everything. I kicked a chair towards Olivia. Sit down, don't cower there. People might think I'm bullying a pregnant woman. Olivia didn't dare to sit, so I pressed her down onto the chair. After settling these troubles, I began to give a work summary. First, seeing that everyone was unhappy after I left, I was quite pleased. Therefore, I hope everyone can work well under my supervision. I took a potted flower from my bag and placed it next to the coffee machine. Second, everyone must now realize our company has been a bit messy, so don't tamper with the Feng Shui arrangements I've altered. I pulled out the new project plan. Finally, this is the latest plan. I will be in charge of the central verification. The rest of you will be assigned tasks by me. Any questions? No one had any issues. My plan was rigorous and logical. Furthermore, no one else could take over this project. If it truly couldn't continue, forget the year-end bonus. Everyone would be fired before the new year. Besides, I am a Feng Shui master. Provoking me would hardly guarantee smooth sailing. I assigned tasks to everyone, including Manager Lee. I closed the plan. Manager Lee, do you have any opinions on my arrangements? For the first time, I saw a fawning expression on Manager Lee's face. Jasmine, do you think I should swap offices with you? After all, you're the person in charge. I scoffed. Why aren't you telling me to get out anymore? As for the office, you can keep it. The death gate of the coffin room holds no interest for me. Manager Lee repeatedly said, Yes, ma'am, so terrified that he even started clearing out. Indeed, when personal interests are threatened, people become remarkably receptive to advice. I readjusted the company's Feng Shui layout, striving to balance the malevolent energy. Malevolent energy would condense, and naturally, it would proliferate. Long accumulated malevolent energy on the 13th floor, propelled by human resentment, would grow even stronger. Its effects on others might not yet be clear, but its impact on Manager Lee and Olivia would be the most severe. Manager Lee, prone to anger, would certainly suffer cardiovascular problems. As for Olivia, the baby in her womb was already of unknown parentage, and having been affected by malevolent energy for so long, its future was uncertain. Moreover, given their current arguments, it was unclear if the baby would even be carried to term. Everyone was diligently working. Nearing closing time, Manager Lee's wife suddenly appeared. Her target was crystal clear. As soon as she entered, she went straight to Olivia, delivering a powerful slap across her face. Olivia was called a homewrecker, and Manager Lee's wife even kicked over one of my potted flowers. My expression instantly darkened. Ms. Zhang, quick-witted, immediately propped the pot back up. The woman's act of kicking the flower pot was very decisive and carried a hateful intention. Someone behind her was clearly instructing her, aiming to provoke me. People on the upper floors saw Manager Lee losing control and were about to call security when security guards rushed up. The woman shrieked loudly, constantly yelling, "Homewrecker," utterly humiliating Manager Lee. All the timing was perfectly coordinated. It was clearly an attempt to curry favor with me, and I couldn't help but be suspicious. Ms. Zhang came up to me, specifically telling me that the potted flower was fine. I looked straight into her eyes and saw the ambition there. The person directing this from behind was her. She was using Manager Lee's punishment to ingratiate herself with me. She was very clever, but I didn't like petty schemers. Because of her, the delicate balance between Manager Lee and me had been broken. Ms. Zhang was about to leave after work, but I stopped her. Ms. Zhang thought I had accepted her and sat down excitedly. Manager Lee was the first to leave. When everyone had left, I suddenly turned off the lights. Ms. Zhang didn't understand my intention. I spoke. "Do you know that you shouldn't push people into a corner?" Ms. Zhang looked bewildered. I abruptly pulled open the door, dragging her behind it. In the darkness, someone lunged and missed. I reached out and flipped on the lights. Manager Lei, with murderous intent, bared his teeth and lunged at me with a kitchen knife. I still had time to reason with Ms. Zhang. "You went too far today." "You provoked him," Manager Lee cackled, his eyes filled with madness. "Dare to cross me? I've got you now. You talk too much. Today I'll cut out your tongue." I hated trouble. So today I wanted to deal with both of them at once. Manager Lee hated me the most, so he charged at me first. I delivered a kick that sent him flying backward, revealing Ms. Zhang behind him. Manager Lee, seeing how precise my strike was, began to chase Ms. Zhang instead. Ms. Zhang saw me standing still, unmoving, and desperately cried, "Jasmine, save me, save me!" As she ran, Ms. Zhang kicked over my potted flower again. She was trying to force me to save her. I had already said it. What I hated most was people playing clever tricks on me. Ms. Zhang ran a few laps. Seeing that I truly wasn't going to save her, her screams began to sound genuinely terrified. I watched the chaotic scene, suddenly feeling it was just a farce. After all, what goes around comes around. However, this place was originally a coffin room. If someone actually died here, it would truly become a coffin room. I called the police. The company was located in the city center, so the police arrived in just 5 minutes. Manager Lee was quickly subdued. Ms. Zhang collapsed to the ground, panting, her eyes wide with terror as she looked at me. Although the knife had been taken away, Manager Lee still strained his neck, yelling, you bitch, you talk too much." Manager Lee suddenly looked at me. "You ruined me, and I won't let you get away with it. Jasmine, the one who first offered herself to me, was asterisk this bitch. How dare you use someone like her? Manager Lee, you're all bitches, you all deserve to die." The 3 of us were all taken to the police station. The surveillance cameras had clearly recorded everything, and the motive for the crime was also clear. At most, I was considered a stunned bystander. After giving my statement, I was no longer involved. Ms. Zhang and I walked out side by side. She didn't dare to look me in the eye. I pinched her chin. "Ms. Zhang, working under me, don't think you're so clever, and certainly don't try to threaten me. My temper isn't the best. I hope there won't be a next time." I patted Ms. Zhang's shoulder, leaning close to her ear. "Ms. Zhang, don't forget my other identity." Manager Lee was undoubtedly remanded in criminal detention. Olivia quickly applied for leave to have an abortion. I didn't hold personal grudges through official means, I simply guided them to complete the project. The fetus had been affected by malevolent energy for so long, I had spent some effort to transfer the malevolent energy away. Naturally, Olivia and manager Lee each received half of it. The selection of project locations was all meticulously calculated by me, and I handled all the verifications. Despite the fatigue, the project always progressed smoothly. Madame Lin called me midway, asking if I needed anything else. I knew she was testing if I wanted to leave. I adjusted the company's Feng Shui, allowing vital energy to flow. As long as no one tampered with it, no problems would arise. The Feng Shui clan operated under the principle that if remuneration wasn't kept, things wouldn't go smoothly. The project in my hands quickly yielded results. I received the year-end bonus that was originally mine, along with the additional 200,000 yuan Madame Lin had promised. This money was what I deserved. No one dared to be envious. After all, they could clearly feel the changes in the company. Most noticeably, the company's temperature had risen. My contract with Madame Lin concluded. After submitting my transfer application, I left. I still had new clients waiting for me. The story ends here.